We will continue in our lecture in international health. Today we are going to lecturing in the quarantine disease. As we mentioned, in international health regulation, there is the quarantine disease or some disease. We are going to do the report. We can go to, as you know, the quarantine disease. They mainly focusing in the infectious disease that have the ability to spread rapidly and also can cause the big health problem among the community or among the population. This is a quarantinable disease. During this lecture, we are going to see definition and also to see the historical perspective, and additionally to see what is the expected, the modern challenge of this quarantinable disease. The definition of quarantinable disease the disease of quarantinable disease, as I mentioned, is an infectious disease that can cause a high risk and spread rapidly and cause a severe illness among the public population or among the population. This is the definition of the infectious or quarantinable disease. And this quarantinable disease, there is a many disease, and even have the different mode of transmission. One of them is airborne disease, as you know, like COVID-19. Additionally, vector disease, there is a causes or transmission through the vector. This vector might be mosquito or ticks or other things, like yellow fever can transmit through the mosquito Aedes aegypti. Additionally, there are other disease can contact or can transmit through the direct contact, like Ebola. This is a 3 mode of transmission for the main quarantinable disease. As I mentioned, the quarantinable disease is the infectious disease, have the highly rapid spread and highly cause risk among the population. 3 mode of transmission: airborne disease and vector disease, and lastly is the contact disease here. Let us to see the historical of the quarantinable disease, where the quarantine or the word of quarantine started here, or what does it mean? The quarantine is a Italic word that means how you can do the good load control of the disease here. The first quarantine law of the first idea of the quarantine, this was 1377. Is in the some cities or some town in Italy called it Venice quarantine. During this Venice or in the Venice quarantine, the cause huge people has been died through this outbreak, sometimes called it the Black Death, that caused by plague, as I mentioned. Around 20 million of people have been died through that outbreak. Then they are put into the quarantine to organize the movement and also to reduce the spread of that disease or of the plague. Additionally, has been another conference or another updating in the 1951. This is doing the conference, how you can develop the sanitary regulation or sanitary law if the movement between the countries and also between the ocean, how they can organize by a good way. The ship or the cargo must have the certificate of the movement, certificate free from the disease. Yeah, this is updated and during the conference updated that regulation in 1851. Lastly, updated also through the sanitary regulation in 1951 with WHO, mainly focusing in the disease, infectious disease. If the people need to move from place to place, they must have the vaccinated or that ship or that cargo to have the certificate or those team has been free from that. If that ship or cargo move from the area as outbreak, they must spend the quarantine day, or another way call it a period time of that disease here, to make sure those passengers they not have that kind of disease here. Lastly, in 2020, during the COVID-19, there is a do or apply the quarantine regulation when the outbreak start in Wuhan, in China. The government of the China put it restricted the lockdown to stop the move between the cities and from China to another, and also from other countries to China. Even after that, movement has been generalized in the world. This is historical. Now let us to see the main disease in quarantine. As mentioned, quarantine like law, this disease which you mentioned in the quarantine must be restricted. If you need to move, if you need to traveling, must have the card, and even that passenger, even that ship or plane must have the certificate free from this kind of disease. Yeah. One of the disease called it smallpox, and smallpox has been eradicated with in 1980 with the WHO effort and UNICEF when they are vaccinated and stop this smallpox. But unfortunately, this smallpox, sometimes people they are use it in bioterrorism. Even now, there is some labs like DCD in Tantan, USA, and also in some institute vector control disease in Russia. There also they have this kind of the smallpox here. But there are sometimes people they are using in bioterrorism. Some people I saw, or before 2 or 3 years, I followed some films which people spread in the conference this kind of smallpox here. Then people, when they are used the handkerchief or tissues, has been spread here. Even now, people they are using it here. The smallpox at that time, it was a quarantinable disease. If you move from the areas endemic with the smallpox, you have the certificate, or that chip also must have the certificate card of vaccination and consent for the sheep or plane must have the certificate for free from that disease. Additionally, polio right now has eradicated, but not yet. Have been controlled in the different, yes, right now it's still in the some countries like uh, Nigeria and also in the Afghanistan and Pakistan. These three countries last updated for the polio, but majority of the areas, even Sudan, it is sometimes updated. This polio also is considered as a quarantinable disease. Yes, if you need to traveling, you have the vaccination card here. Also, the SARS, severe acute respiratory, which is outbreak or was pandemic during the 2003. This is also considered as a quarantinable disease. COVID-19 declaration as a quarantinable disease in 2020. This is the COVID-19. Also, viral hemorrhagic fever. Viral hemorrhagic fever is the package of the disease, or there is a group of the disease like Ebola, Marburg, Lassa, Chikungunya. There is the money. All of viral hemorrhagic fever as considered quarantinable disease here. When you need to travel or move from the area, have this kind of disease, you have to certificate or to get the vaccination. Also, additionally, the plague, as I mentioned, there is many types. I think 2 or 3 types of the plague, like bubonic and pneumonic. Bubonic, this is sometimes some people they call it Black Death, which many people have been dead here. Also, as considered is a quarantinable disease. Yellow fever without vaccination also is a request for the passenger to have cholera. If you move from the area, you have also to have meningococcal meningitis. Also, this is the first street, also considered as a quarantinable disease. This is the top disease for the quarantinable disease here. Now let us to see the legal framework. As I mentioned, International Health Regulation 2004 is put it by WHO. They put it the general regulation. Yes, yeah. As I mentioned here, but in the International Health Regulation 2005, they share with all countries of the world must they have the many articles. Yeah, one of the articles they mentioned to have you must to reporting or to notify if you have the quarantinable disease, as I mentioned before. And based on the international health regulation, the many countries develop their own or their national regulation. Yeah, behind this one, but they are doing update based on their request or based on their situation in the countries here. In Sudan, there is a quarantine law 1974. This is the quarantine law in Sudan. Yeah, have the many articles. Even now, the country they are used it here in Port Sudan and even in the coast in different areas here, they are used it here. Additionally, USA also have Quarantine Act or quarantine regulation, which is developed by CDC in Atlanta. India also there some act called the Epidemic Disease Act. In UK in 1947 84, there is the Public Health Act, which concern with for the quarantinable disease or quarantinable disease. Yeah, this is the framework of the quarantinable. Yeah, people there depend on the international regulation, and based on all countries they are develop their own national regulation, as I mentioned there. Now let us to see the mechanism of the disease containment. Yeah, if you have the quarantinable disease, what is the mechanism or strategy to use to control that quarantinable disease here? One of the strategies, the isolation, the quarantine, and also vaccinate, active case tracing. Yeah, isolation, that means when the passengers come from the outbreak with some quarantine disease, firstly, you can put all passengers in the quarantine. You can put it in the hotel or in some areas. If you have the passenger come from the other countries, that countries have the outbreak with the quarantinable disease. Firstly, you can put it in the quarantine, perhaps a hotel or a specific place. All passengers you are put it there, and then this passenger can spend like a period of time. If this disease which you are accused, this passenger, like COVID-19 like need like 21 days, yeah, period time that can lead to sign or symptom of the COVID-19 to be more clear. If you, for the yellow fever, also have some days, yeah, you can put it in the quarantine based on the period of that disease. After that, when the period of that disease is finished, you can see if those passengers have the sign and symptoms, you can put it in isolation for treatment. If those passengers not have sign and symptom of that disease, you can let them go there to do their issue. You can let them and go to the community. If those passengers have been affected or have the sign and symptom of that disease, you can put it in isolation, and that isolation you can provide with the doctors and also medical laboratories, and also with the supply, with infection prevention control, measurement, precaution, all of that. Yeah, even to those guys take the treatment and also to control, even to stop or to reduce that can help you to stop or reduce the spread of that disease. This is a quarantine. This is another. These are some techniques also people use it in the quarantine. The third technique, people use the vaccination. When you are come from the outbreak area, you must to vaccinate these people. Yeah. Lastly, you can active tracing or active case finding or tracing. That means you can follow among the community. Is there someone have that disease, or some newcomers have that disease? Yeah, this is the mechanism used in the quarantine disease. Now let us to see some cases of the quarantine. One of them is the Black Death in the 4th century and 14th century. This is caused by bubonic plague spread by the fleas and rat. The quarantine measurement used during that pandemic. It was isolation. All passengers must spend like 14 days, no contact with people, put it in the isolation or in the specific no contact with another people. This is the quarantine measurement people there take it during the Black Death in 14th century. The impact that the pandemic really is very dangerous. It killed around 30 to 50 European population. That means many people have been this. Yeah, more than 20 million, more than many people have been this during the Black Death. Yeah. Let us see another case. COVID-19 pandemic also in 2020. The first declaration or first detected in Wuhan in China in December 2019, but unfortunately, they not declaration or not reported to WHO directly until 2000 in January or February 2020. After that, WHO reported in March as a pandemic or international issue. As a global response for the quarantine measure people they are using, China use it like strict lockdown, no movement. Yeah. No movement, no strict lockdown. Yeah, no movement. Even in Europe and USA, mask mandate. You must have the mask if you're going in the street. You must have the mask and mandate to have that. Yeah. Travel ban, no movement like that. Yeah. All of this is a quarantine regulation or quarantine measurement used during the COVID-19. The result of the COVID-19, more than 7 million people have been dead during the worldwide during that time or during the COVID-19. Yeah, this is it. But if not restricted or if not apply the quarantine regulation or quarantine measurement, that means more than 7 million, many people will be die. Yeah. Yeah, that's why the benefit of the quarantine regulation or quarantine. Now let us see the future challenge. What we are expected in the future challenge for the quarantine. One of the challenges, antibiotic resistance. Like tuberculosis, untreatable, and some people if affected by the tuberculosis, and even now this kind of disease or tuberculosis. Yesterday or today I was in cluster meeting. I realized even in many countries or in Central Darfur has reported like two cases here. This is a newcomers. Yeah, many people now they are suffering for this kind. The problem is that tuberculosis have resistance, yeah, because people those use drugs not use rational use of the drugs. Yeah. When we are expected when the antibiotic resistant, that means not have treatment of these drugs. And you know, people when they are traveling from country to country or place to place, that means have the ability to spread the disease here. And this kind of the disease is spread easily. Yeah, in the future drugs, when all of type of the drugs has been resistant, that will be the big challenges internationally. Additionally, the climate change. The climate change increase the mosquito or mosquito-borne disease. Like example, when you are cutting trees and also changing, that means contribute to global warming. And when the global warming, even the water at the different water around the world in the different place will be more suitable for the mosquito to spread or to put their egg or to reproduce to be more or reproductive. Yeah. That can contribute for dengue fever and also Zika. Yeah. Because when the water more warming, that more suitable and more better for the mosquito. And lastly, global cooperation needed. Yeah. Countries must share the data first. Example like China, no share COVID-19 data until the COVID spread in many cities in China. This is also is considered. The future challenges for the quarantine, one of them, the antibiotic resistance for the many diseases. Yeah. For the many diseases, additionally, climate change also considered as the challenges, global cooperation. Conclusion of these lectures, quarantinable disease remain major global threat. History show early quarantine save life, but public cooperation is essential. Modern law like international health regulation 2005 help us, but it's very important. Stronger global health system are needed for the future pandemic. Yeah. The global strong global health system is very needed, as you see during the COVID-19. Many countries, even the European country, they are struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, thank you a lot. I hope you all the best. If any comment, question, floor for you. Now you are welcome. Hello, Jamal, you are welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, our great doctor. In fact, today's lecture is really interesting. I enjoy it too much. So I have one question that I would like to ask.
I couldn't get you.
Okay, are you hearing me well? Are you hearing me? Hello, everyone.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you hearing me now?
Go ahead.
Okay, I said that today's lecture was really interesting.
No.
So,
could you repeat? Go ahead.
There was a slide talking about mechanisms of quarantinable disease. So what I would like to know more about it is tracing. Can you explain it much more?
Hello?
Hello, doctor.
Okay. Now I couldn't get you. I don't know. Could you write in the chat? Hello?
Hello, doctor. Okay, no matter. Thanks a lot. Maybe network is not good.
I have the challenging in to get you very well. I will share with you this video. If any question, you can comment in the class here. Now I couldn't get you well. Yeah, that's why. Let the comment to be there, and also if any question, let us to be in class here. Yeah, because I couldn't audible you. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Thank you a lot and have a good moment. Now let us to say have a good weekend. Take care. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Adam, you need to say something, but I couldn't get you. That's why I prefer the question to be in the class area there. Thank you a lot.